Okay, now, do both of you know what your child was, boy or girl, and have you named your child?
My daughter would be 23 years old, probably close to 24 years old, and her name is Olivia.
My son would be 18. And his name is Lucas.
What led to my decision to have an abortion was really just living in my head, living in fear. I was afraid of what people would think of me. I was already determined to make this go away and pretend it never happened, and that's exactly what I did for years.
I was 20. I had just gotten out of a relationship with my son's father, and I was not going to have another child. I didn't want to be a statistic, a mom of 2 kids with 2 different dads. Unfortunately, I didn't think twice about it. There was no one in my life at the time I think that knew any different either.
When you take a life, for us to have to withhold that and subside that, it's gonna come out. I would go to a Hope Choice banquet, and I felt the Lord saying, hey, because you're like, oh no, they're talking about abortion. That's everybody. You feel like everybody can see you, everybody knows what you've done, and that's not true.
And of course, my thought was I dealt with it with the Lord. I didn't need to talk about it. I didn't need to tell anybody else. And then every time I would go to a banquet, it would be talked about, and I would get so emotional. And then when I learned who the leader of the class was, and I was like, oh, that is why the Lord put us together. And she was like, oh, you've had an abortion? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, you should do this new Dawn class. And I was like, I don't need that. So a couple weeks went on, and she reached out to me, and she said, I have one more spot. The Lord's really putting it on my heart, to just ask you one more time. And I reluctantly said, okay, fine, I'll do it.
One of the things, I'll backtrack a little bit, was I want girls to know that they don't have to say yes to these things. And it wasn't even about the abortion at the moment, but just sex and relationships and monogamy and marriage. And there was a student of mine who was volunteering or involved with Hope Choice, and she was saying that, hey, there's a job opening at Hope Choice, and I think you should apply for it. It'll be great. And I'm like, well, if you apply for this job, you're going to have to talk about your decision. You're going to probably have to take New Dawn. So New Dawn started, I think that following Sunday, and I pull up and I see Marquis's car there. Well, Marquis and I, real quick, we've known each other off and on for over 20 years. So I go in and I see her sitting there, and she's filling out paperwork or something, and I just was like, hey. And then she looks up, and I think we're both like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And so I know the Lord brought us together before, during, and after that.
At the beginning of the class, I was very closed off, very hard. It really just showed me where my heart was and how much more I needed him, because I gave him that part of my life that I had claimed to have given him.
Like Marquis says, I dealt with that with the Lord. Well, I didn't really yet. And so it just helped bring it to the surface. And if something's more real, we can deal with it, and I can take it to the Lord, and the Lord can use it and heal.
Don't hide from it anymore. Mm-hmm. He's not far away. He's been waiting for you.